The presidential candidates are already coming to Iowa. As the field of Democratic hopefuls continues to grow, each of them is hoping to eke out some kind of early advantage that will hopefully work to sustain them ahead of the Iowa caucus 1 year from now.
There's plenty of room for a moderate to come in and be very effective. You may think there will be a dozen candidates. I think it's going to be closer to 24, especially if someone like Joe Biden does not get in the race.
For more than a decade, Jeff Stein has served as an Iowa-based political analyst for KSFY News. In 2016, he was part of our Iowa caucus coverage as we watched the political battle unfold between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz versus Donald Trump.
We are really at a unique point in American society with so many people who don't want to claim either party affiliation.
Stein heads up political reporting for KXEL Radio in Waterloo, Iowa. And as we head now towards the 2020 Iowa caucus, Stein tells me he believes the presidential candidate in the best position in this very early stage of the campaign may be Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar.
If you are a moderate Democrat like Amy Klobuchar, some people have said, well, why would she get in the race? Because there are so many to the left of her that they are going to split that pool. Roughly 40% of Iowa caucus goers in 2016 self-identified as socialist. That's why all of the current candidates are running to that end of the spectrum. But they are going to split that vote.
But the key there for Klobuchar is if more Democratic candidates enter the race choosing to run far left of center. And while it could be good for candidates like Klobuchar in the short term, in the long term, Stein says the continued trend of political polarization leads to not only increasing gridlock in Washington and increasingly in state capitals, but it is also souring in ever-increasing numbers voters themselves.
Being a moderate Democrat will only work if more and more to the left of the spectrum, far left, stay in the race and split the vote. What you are finding broadly is that more and more voters want nothing to do with either party. They are going to register as independents, they won't participate in partisan primaries or caucuses, and they are the swing voters that we can't predict behavior about, but it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because the more independents who stay out of partisan primaries and caucuses, the more to each extreme the nominees will be, and you'll have an even greater amount of people in the middle who feel disenfranchised.
And as more voters take that independent option, the voters left behind who remain committed to the political parties are the voters who are either far right of center or far left of center. And it's those voters presidential candidates will have to engage with and win over if their campaigns are going to succeed.
Those folks who are leaving partisan politics to be independents for whatever reason, they're actually causing the candidates of the two major parties to be further and further to the extreme, and that makes it really hard for them to run toward the middle and govern if they're ever elected.
As for the 2020 race for the White House, there are two questions that people are actively pondering right now. The first, will President Trump face a Republican challenger next year?
I seriously doubt there will be a Republican challenger to Trump in 2020 because the Trump re-election effort has merged its databases and so many points of its control with the Republican National Committee. The thumb is on the scale. It is no different, really, than the DNC with Hillary Clinton in 2016.
And the other question many are wondering about, will former Vice President Joe Biden run for president? While there has been a lot of speculation, there has yet to be an announcement from Biden that shows his cards one way or the other. And Jeff Stein says he believes that is a telling sign.
I have real doubt that Joe Biden will get in the race. And I say that because of the fact that so many other candidates are already in and have signed up so many of the good operatives. It's almost going to be hard for the former vice president to get a good staff. I think there are people who jumped on these other bandwagons because they really don't think that he's going to run.